Welcome back to the Kiki MMA channel, and today's video will be very simple and not that long. I just finished watching UFC 330, and I'm just going to the main event here. I don't really like doing recap videos, so I'm not going to do that, but um, I think Ian Garry won that fight. Or it was 3-2 Islam. It was 3-2 either way. Round 5 was the deciding round for me. I don't know how those judges scored it 4-1 for Islam. Round 4 was one of the easier round scores I've seen in a bit. It's first of all, let's get to the beginning. 1 and 2, easy for Islam. But remember, it's scored on a round by round basis. So those rounds were 10-9 rounds. So then Ian won round 3 very clearly, 10-9 Ian. So we were at 29-28. Then so Ian needs to win both the last 2 rounds to win the championship. And I think round 4, we see for I think it was the first maybe 2.5, 3 minutes, Ian outstrikes Gary to an absurd degree. Like I don't think we're not damage isn't necessarily here, and we'll get into the scoring criteria in a little bit. But if I'm trying to pull up the stats real quick. In round 4, okay, the stats just aren't right. But in round 4, Ian just outlands Gary, and I think that that won him the round. Like I don't understand. Like Islam just didn't do anything with the strikes. Okay, let's go by round. Round 4. So this says so for total strikes in round 4, Ian Garry landed 41 total strikes and 7 significant strikes. Islam Makhachev landed 7 total strikes, 3 significant strikes. 7 total strikes. 7. One to the head. I don't get this. Yes, he controlled him for 3 minutes. But here, I'm pulling up right now. The official UFC controlling criteria has impact is number 1, and Ian shots. Those were hard shots. Those were doing impact. It wasn't absurd great. Now the second one is dominance. Now it's not what this means. It means having a fighter and trying to get them into fight ending positions. Islam wasn't doing that. He was just stalling. He was stalling in a non-fight ending position. That is not dominant. The number 3, which is duration, which includes effective striking and effective grappling. Islam was not effectively grappling. He was just holding him against the fence. It's not effectively grappling. Effectively grappling would be transitioning, like Charles Oliveira against Max Holloway was doing a little bit more of this. Like it's boring fight. It's probably not a great example, but you understand what I'm saying. That's different from this. And Ian was effective striking very well. Islam didn't do anything in the first 2 minutes of that round. He did nothing. He didn't win anything. So I don't get how you can score round 4. Round 5 is a different story. I think round 5 is a much closer round, but I can also explain for that on one. But yeah, round 4, one of the clearest Ian Garry rounds I've seen. You can argue this on one round 5. Round 4, easiest Ian Garry round I've ever seen. You cannot possibly for Islam if you understand. Like if you score round for Islam, you just are looking at the fight and not scoring off the actual scoring criteria. Like, I understand if you think Islam was more dominant in the fight or whatever because you just held him there and for more, that's fine. That doesn't mean you won the fight, and you're supposed to be scoring the fight off the official judging criteria, which is listed right here. This is official. It's by the UFC. These two put this out, or maybe the MMA promote sanctioning bodies, whatever it is. This is how you were supposed to score fights. It's not objective. I mean, it's not subjective. It is objective. This is the objective way you're supposed to score fights. Now, let's go to round 5. Round 5, I have to admit, very close round. I give it to Islam. And in the end of the round, it was close. But here's my argument for Ian Garry. Okay, so control time. Islam controlled him for 3 minutes of the round. Yes, that is important. They landed the same amount of total strikes, but here's the problem. Islam didn't land a single significant strike. Now, Ian didn't land that many, but he went 7 for 9 on significant strikes, which does matter. When you're only landing 19 total strikes for both guys, 7 significant strikes to 0 does matter. And those were good shots. Like for the first 2 minutes of the round, Ian was winning the round. And then Islam just holds him in the fence and does nothing. It would really, not just on the judging, but the refereeing. Herb Dean should separate them. Like Islam wasn't doing anything. That's a situation where standing them up or separating them because no one's been in a position is actually helpful. So yes, I can see why you would give Islam round 5. It was a much closer round. Round 4 was easily for Ian. Don't even get me started on that. Everyone's probably gonna disagree with me. I understand this. I don't care. I know it's like a hot take. I'm not trying to be edgy. This is what I actually thought. I think Ian Garry won 3-2. I could rewatch it and see Islam 3-2. Round 5 again. Round 5 very close. But you have to look at how fights are actually supposed to be scored. And I think we as a sport we cannot accept. We need to punish stalling. Like I like what they did against Jonathan versus Volkov. Like If you look at that fight, you might think that Almeida won, but if you actually look at the scoring criteria, the like the pitter like the any shots that Volkov was winning was better than Almeida because Almeida wasn't doing anything. So yeah, because it wasn't doing anything with his position. Control time is last. Octane control is at the bottom. So octane control only matters, which is non-dominant positions, not going to finish the fight with if you're grappling. That only matters if everything else is equal. And I don't think there's an argument for that in round four, especially, and not really round five. I can argue that the shots that Islam won at the end could have held, and that the ground was on more dominant. We got the body triangle. I don't know. It's a much different argument. But yeah, that'll do it for today. I think Ian Garry won that fight. I don't know. It's tough for me to say Ian Garry won that fight. It's just hard because you look at the fight one way, and then like you look at that fight from a non-judging ground, from like a casual fan, they're gonna think Islam won easily. And if you but you look at from the scoring criteria, because obviously they had the biggest moments in round two, but if you look from the scoring criteria and it's on a round by round basis, there's a very good argument. It's a very clear argument. Ian won round three and four, and round five, I think Ian won. It's very close, but I don't know. That'll do it. Please like, subscribe, comment. I expect some hate comments below. So have fun. Leave some video ideas.